Yeah, hi everyone. So Elizabeth and I are currently in Petropolis, and we are looking at buying a car here. So we don't know whether or not we're going to buy a first-hand or second-hand car. We'd like to buy a second-hand car, but unfortunately the type of car we're trying to buy is pretty rare second-hand. So the issue that we're finding when we're coming to price the vehicle is that the cost of the vehicle outright, either secondhand or firsthand, really isn't that expensive. So like a Fiat Toro Freedom, which is what we're looking at, 2021 is about approximately 131,000 reais, which is about like 26,000. Yeah, almost 25 to 26,000 US dollars. Not a bad price for a reasonably good car. But the taxes here in Brazil are extremely high. So when you buy the car, you have to pay a one-time purchase tax, right? One-time purchase tax.
Yes.
And then you have to pay like a vehicle registration fee. They call it, what's the cost of this yearly tax?
IPVA.
Yeah, it's the IPVA. What, do you remember the full name?
É o imposto de propriedade de veículo automotivo. Something like that.
Yeah, imposto de propriedade de veículo automotivo. So, imposto means tax. Property, because everything here is object or property. So, you know, it's a property tax on the vehicle. And that's 4% of the cost of the vehicle, the initial cost of the vehicle. And then apparently every year it's still 4%, but as the vehicle depreciates in value, it decreases. So there's that tax. So, you know, and that's over 15 years, 4% every year for 15 years, which we worked out to about $1,000. So every year you're paying $1,000 for vehicle registration. They don't call it vehicle registration, they call it IPVA. It's basically the tax you have to pay for the license and the continued use of the vehicle. Whereas in America, or most other countries, some countries are high, some countries are low. Singapore, for example, is high. A lot of countries in Europe are, you know, reasonably high. America's pretty low, you know, anywhere from $35 to $50 for re-registration of your vehicle every year. Maybe a little bit more in California. I don't know. So, you know, if you final out the total, and then we might have to pay an income. Do we have to pay the income tax on the vehicle?
Normally, yeah. For people receive income, need to pay income taxes every year.
Yeah. So there's an income tax. Now, we don't know whether or not, you know, the purchase of a vehicle, I don't see that as income, but Brazil has this very strange tax situation. So the purchase of the vehicle might be considered income. I don't know how it could be considered income, because technically it's not income if you're paying with it, you know, with your own money. So I don't know how it could be considered income, but Brazil has crazy tax situation, so maybe it's income. So then there's that potential tax, and we worked that tax out to, was that 15% of the total cost of the vehicle? So then that tax is 15%.
Is between 15 and 22% income tax per year for car, for example.
Yeah, so, you know, add on to the, you know, $20-something thousand vehicle,
Extremely
25, 28.
expensive.
Yeah, it brings it up to the cost of like, you know, between $40,000 or more over the 15 years. Of course, a lot of that isn't paid up front, but the total cost of the vehicle, if you total it out, the weird thing about Brazilians, and the reason that the Brazilian government has done this, is they've made the Brazilians forget how expensive things are, because you're paying for it in an amortized you know, over time. You're paying for it over time. So it kind of obfuscates the actual cost of the whole procedure, or the whole purchasing the whole object. So the whole object, we cost it out to like it's like the same price as a new, actually it's potentially even more expensive than, a similar car in the United States. I'd say it's a more expensive vehicle than purchasing a similar car in the United States. Just a lot of that expense isn't, more than half the expenses up front, and then a lot of the expenses you have to cover over the next 15 years. So this is just something we're having, some problems with as we're thinking about the cost of the vehicle, because I don't do it that way. I look at the total cost of the vehicle, forget the 15 years. What is the total cost? What is everything you have to pay on the vehicle, total for the, and we plan on keeping the vehicle for a period of time. So, I just look at it as total cost. So I'm looking at it as total cost. Of course, a lot of Brazilians don't. They're like, well, then we have to pay, up front so much, and then every year we pay, this amount. So we've worked it out to generally we'll have to pay $1,000 on the vehicle just for registration. That's not including insurance. Then we have insurance, and the insurance is about $1,000 a year. So, $2,000 a year to keep driving a vehicle like this. I don't know, just something to consider, this IPVA tax, 4% every year, brings Brazil is not an inexpensive country, what we're finding. In some cases, it is more expensive than other countries. So, it's just interesting how, their infrastructure isn't all that great. A lot of people in favelas, literally, I'll show you some videos maybe in the future. Maybe I'll have a favela video, and you can just see all of the different favelas here, because most people here live in favelas. So, and then there's the huge cost and the huge tax burden on the population. And we don't, the Brazilian public doesn't really see the benefit, I don't see of this. Maybe over the next 15 years, things will change, and, some of this tax burden that's placed upon the population will make a difference. But, I don't know. We hope so. So that's it. That's it for this video. Just some issues we're having buying a car and trying to price out the entire value of the car and think about how we want to spend our money. It's about as expensive as an expensive car in the United States over time. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.